once. I think that's just so sad.
You know
like,
what?
What a downfall. For like a year, it was the top civ, right?
I think
now look at
we
it.
could see them appear here if we change the rules of off-meta combat and ban 9 civs per map. Then the French will get picked. But no, we only ban 4 per map. And as a result, we find ourselves hopping into Dry Arabia for the Chinese versus the HRE. And Kasva has been practicing the Chinese quite a lot. I caught a few games that he was actually particularly practicing this on Dry Arabia. Interestingly enough, he tends to play with that second TC as you expect. But one cool thing I've noticed on kind of a wider level of territory gain is like Kasva's a very big fan of playing the flanks on this map, the Chinese. Curious to see if we get a similar approach and if the HRE is able to kind of come down the center a bit too fast in that mid game.
I mean, it's gonna be spicy. It's gonna be spicy. Like this is different. I don't think we've had this matchup yet.
No.
I didn't expect this matchup. I always kind of felt that China is like one of the best civs in the game, just because if you mess up your aggression against them, it can be so punishing. I think we see like Beastie doing that a lot of the time, right? Like very often, like, oh, you mess up your aggression once, they're outscaling you the whole time, and then you fight in a choke point against a nest of bees, and it's just like, oh, you thought you were gonna win, but now you just lose because China's like in their mid game. They hit their stride, right? And so curious to see how GUA approaches this game. I kind of feel like the onus is on him to find a way to make HRE work. I think if we get Kasva into a comfortable position with like, I don't know, Song and 2TC, like,
Yep.
Is it going to be really tricky? I feel like for HRE, unless they can get those relics going, and I don't know. I haven't seen GUA's HRE too much.
No.
I'm wondering how he's dealing with the off meta combat so far, but we're here, right? So clearly doing well, right?
Yeah. The way you kept going right there, it's like the copium, I can hear it through. And a representation.
Well, yeah. I just want to make sure everyone's covered,
well, you
right?
know, it's like no offense to all the boys trying, but like when you look at the top 8 or top 16 of most tournaments, you know, good old Canada is the one carrying North America at the moment. It would be nice to see a deep run from some unexpected people. And GUA, definitely a player with a lot of talent. Players played well off the aggro. A player that actually understands the Chinese incredibly well also has to be highlighted. I still remember some of his very innovative builds involving things like the Imperial Palace, like vastly ahead of everyone else, right? Understanding the value you get from the vision of that particular landmark when everyone else was just convinced that it was Clock Tower or broke.
Build that sucker in the middle of the map, and like you don't get surprised anymore. You never get raided again, right? And I think that really fits G's like playstyle, because he's one to put like 20 bills on like a berry and not really protect it sometimes, right? At least that's what I remember, right? And it's not like a huge negative, especially if you can get away with that because you can see the raid coming from so far ahead, right? And also it enables you to raid, right? You just push the fancy little button and you see their bills, and oh, you think you can sink that gold mine? No, you can't. But Kasva going for pretty standard build here. This looks like just the standard Song build, right?
Yeah, one villager. By the time you about complete the tech up, you're ready to drop the Barbican as well. Boom, Song line. And a great Barbican placement, actually, that he needs in this game. If you check his stone, you can see it's next to the deer. Alongside his gold, it's forward of his TC. So if he's worried about any sort of feudal aggression, which we don't often see with HRE, but it's possible, that Barbican placement is going to be critical to allowing his greed in this game. And, whoa.
Yeah,
That's a TC build from the HRE.
I think so, yeah. Okken on the stone generally means that, but he's also got wood and he can put the sheep on it, so it's not too bad, right? Like, he also tags the berries. This might just be the most resources. This could just be the RNG, right? Like, this is the best he could do, but he's also gathering a lot of wood. Yeah, looks like TC plan, but he's got a lot of wood. Maybe behind a stable?
I think his placement was really optimal as well, because if you check that, the AoE, the cool thing he done here, and this is like a tip, I remember I tuned it to HRE players from the early days, and I still always like to remind people, judge where your Elkin's going to go and move your sheep to that corner, right? Look how close he is on the edge there. He guaranteed that these clubbed sheep at the beginning of the game before he techs up are still going to be buffed up, even past that point.
Yeah, really just heads up play, making sure everything's all set. That was really smart. That's really good. Let's check this out. I think TC time's going to be pretty fast.
That's how many? Is that 10? 12? That's a lot of workers.
Many. A baker's dozen.
You don't want to call the number again. 14! Good Lord.
I was off by 1. Come on. Oh, he was 17 stone short. You hate to see it.
Now he has too much time. Quite a lot, actually. Good God, that gathering rate.
Where is he going? Oh, to the hunt.
No, that's the boar. The boar and the deer, I think. Like, just check north. Okay, he can pull the ball, though. Just above this,
He could.
Pumbaa's close enough.
Pumbaa. Okay, so
Hello.
Kasva coming off of the game 1 win. So GOA, if he wants to pull this, he's gonna have to win 2 in a row here. And I don't know. Do you feel comfortable doing 2 TC against Song? Like, you kind of think like in old days, HRE kind of had to play this FC into Regnitz, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not sure what
Okay,
he's.
hear me out. Mine work. I'm just sold on it,
Yes.
right? Mine work with double TC. You can afford additional prelates. And Kasva, are we returning those days, the dark days? Something he can never escape. He made a bit of a name for himself, an infamy, if you will, as a filthy tower boy. And I believe we are seeing the return of Tower Power Kasva.
You're gonna lose a Vil.
Whoops.
Oh,
Wait, they're not
you didn't see
attacking.
anything.
Oh,
Oh, no. Oh no, Pumbaa's revenge. He has to pull a bunch of Vils.
He's like, I can't die yet. I need to make Lion
on
King
the other
3.
side. He's trying to garrison. He keeps trying to garrison the Vils and then
Stab
pull
him!
them out to the other
Just
side.
stab him!
Oh
my god.
Okay, well, it's dead. 1 Vil down.
And many villagers are almost dead as well. So there's also
Okay,
that.
well, keep in mind, while all this was happening, what has Kasva accomplished with his 7 forward villagers?
He's gone all the way around. He's still
He's
walking.
He's looking for the TC.
Oh.
6. Sorry, I miscounted. 6 forward villagers.
Oh, this play doesn't work. This play doesn't work. Like,
This seems so bad.
he's got other wood
Maybe.
lines. Like, this hurts his arc and gathering. Sure, granted. But, like, you just idled 6 villagers. You're 1 TC. You're not on the stone. You're behind. And also
Wrong.
remember, GUA, like, he's playing the HRE. Each of these villages is 1.4. So take that number that he has, multiply it, I'd say, by, like, 1.2, because not all of his eco is buffed. But a decent margin of it still is.
And at this stage, I don't even know if GUA cares about having the whole right side of his Aachen. Like, he got the TC down, and all of his food income is handled. Like, he's got the boar and the deer, like you said, on the north. And now Kasva didn't tower the gold, which would have been juicy as heck, because
He
that would have
ignored
denied 2 gold mines. Well, because he didn't see any bills. He was like, "Where?" I think Kasva literally has no idea where GUA's
Oh my
economy
god, it really is old Gen Kasva. He's back. He's like, well,
But now he
in for a
finds
penny,
it.
in for a pound. More outposts. He even loses the scout.
2 more sheep for the HRE machine.
Oh god.
So this is tricky.
Please tell
Oh,
me
the
he has
wolf?
a stables. Does he have a stables? Because he's building another scout. So that's Villy production missed out on otherwise. And you have Song Dynasty. He's building it out the TC.
He's training it from the TC.
Oh, this hurts even more. This is rough for Kasva.
Yeah, GUA, man. This strat, it looked rough. I think all of our heart rates collectively increased by too much when that boar was engaged, but here we are. We're back to normal. Everything's healthy now.
I mean, he
Like-
never said
like-
who he was giving anxiety, right?
Everybody in the world. So, okay. So this tower rush has to be the least effective so far
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
ever
I was
seen.
about to say the worst outpost rush I've seen
like,
in a long time.
Well, no, it's not like he did anything horribly wrong. It's just,
It's just-
GOA's economy is just
Yeah.
not there, right? Like it's like he's
So,
done the
so,
right
so
thing.
just to
He's
recap,
tower
you're
rushed
being
the
nice
Aachen.
about it, but the worst outpost rush we've seen, and all because of the timings around GUA, right? Think about that
No, I
gold you
think it's just the
mentioned,
effect-
right?
Yeah, the gold. If he had towered the gold, this could have been a lot better. But like right now, look at it, right? Like the textbook thing is
In for a
deny
penny.
the Aachen.
In for a pound. He's
Is this
going
6
with
more
a
now?
second wave. That's like what, a third of his eco now that are running around not gathering for him. And they got
Oh my
spotted.
gosh.
I mean, they have wheelbarrow. That's the upside. The downside is
Spearman's there.
death.
Spearman's there though. We'll save them. But there's already a tower for GUA on his
Oh my god.
on his wood line. Where's gold?
Okay, Kasva's like, these villagers are in no man's land, so he's actually just systematically outposting every single resource around the base. But it's done nothing.
And not. Well, I mean, you are denying the wood income being on the Aachen.
But I'm
here's the
I'm
Regnitz. I
GUA
don't think
and
you care.
I'm not building rams this game, so I don't care about wood. I'm building Castle Age into Night Spam. Smiley face.
When Kasva comes in, does Kasva resign?
He can, right? He's
Like,
a game
honestly.
up. I think you maybe just do here. Like, dude. I mean, I kind of, to a certain degree, enjoyed the elegance with which Kasva was able to apply his outpost rushing back in the days of Road to Red Bull Wallow, but this is not the Kasva I'm used to seeing. I mean, this is... I respect him for his ability to double down. That's something I always give him credit for. But there is nothing to double down on here.
I think he just didn't expect GUA to go that far for the TC, maybe. Like, that's my only explanation, right? Like, because Kasva is not a bad player. Like, his tower rush, this is all, like, normal stuff, right? Like, you put it all in the right spots. It's just, okay, this could matter, but it will get instantly torched.
If he could get it.
Yeah.
I mean, now what do you do? Kaz, like, look at his resource bank. He's 3 minutes out from Castle Age himself. You're dead by then.
Yeah, and the trick to these tower rushes is if you do displace the economy of the opponent like you've done, you follow it up with military. But it's just been so expensive for Kasva because he sent that whole second wave that he has, what, 5 spearmen? Like, that's not going to stop GUA's, like, economy at any stage, right? Unless GUA also self-destructs a little bit, but I don't think he will. He's going to secure this gold mine in the middle now with his own towers. This game is getting messy. So even though it looks kind of bad for Kasva, I could see a world in which some jank stuff happens and we have no idea what ends up happening, right?
Quite a lot of jank stuff would have to happen. The only downside right now is GUA is like lacking wood. I really want to see him fix that because he should be up to like 2, maybe 3 stables at this stage. But he has at least secured the gold. And that's going to allow him to now start pushing knights. I wouldn't even mind just, for the time being, with all that extra food, pushing a bunch of horsemen to raid in your opponent's base. Like, you know Kasva's eco down. Now, stick his head in the mud.
Also, I don't think he realized how cut off he would be from resources. He went Regnitz, but like, he's completely like walled in by these towers, in air quotes, right? Like, he can't get a prelate out of the base, right? There's people holding guns in every single one of these towers, just ready to shoot any old man that walks by. So it's not really a likely opportunity. It's alarmingly accurate. These boys are not stormtroopers.
I mean, we're in the 21st century. We haven't even discovered like like heat-seeking bullets. But these guys do have them. They never miss. Oh, this
coming to reinforce.
This is going to be tight. The repair of the villager might actually allow him to get the fortification out, and that says GUA has to retreat. Oh my god, he's actually done it.
Oh.
There's no way. He's going to push him off another wood line. So now GUA is stuck on one location.
Yeah, but he's got so much wood there.
Yes.
Like, he's got so gmany vills on wood over there. I think GUA is just trying to secure more of his base because he does need to find a solution here. The cramp, are you starting to feel it? Like, it's starting to kick in. Like, GUA hasn't been able to spend his resources in a meaningful way. Like you said, no production buildings really, and he keeps sending vills further and further away from safety.
Yeah, because
he's going to the boar.
Doesn't see this. He's going all the way to the boar.
Pumbaa number 2. I think this time GUA will be clocked in.
Yeah, please do not let this go as bad as your clash with Pumbaa 1.
Dude, the first episode really had me going. So I'm really hoping the sequel is just as thrilling as the first.
Dude, the first episode was like the second wave of villagers come in and they just see Pumbaa burping with a leg hanging out of his mouth. Like, what happened here?
I don't want to watch him fight the boar. Can we watch that? I feel like that's more important than most other things right now.
Yeah, who cares about outposts? There's plenty of them that you can kill. There's only one more Pumbaa he can kill. He done it. He done it.
A vill.
It cost him a villager, but he done it.
Yeah, but that's an expected loss. Right?
Okay, hear me out, Winston.
Nice.
Like, this should be part of the game. Like, whenever boars kill, they should get more food, right? So he's digesting the villager.
Ugh.
What do you mean, What do you think pigs eat? They eat anything. Oh my god.
Oh,
no, GUA, what's happening?
The seek shelter button claims another victim.
God. He doesn't even realize it because he's got all these pings going off.
Yeah, every single one of his base. Dude, okay. Remember when I said if things get messy, this could shift?
That happens with 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 outposts? Is that 13 actually? It might be 14 outposts total.
Yeah, it starts to get into your head a little, you know.
I mean, it's not a little.
Did he get a relic?
Like, I wish we had a nice little option to draw on the map here to show you GUA's zone of influence. He has, what would we call that? Like an 1/8 of the map, if that.
Yeah, and I mean, with just feudal spearmen, somehow Kasva is dismantling the defense of GUA. I don't actually know how spearmen. It's starting to become alarming.
Now, I was ready to write him off because, you know, even Kasva has his limitations where most players will make these type of outpost plays and they're like, okay, now I have to catch up. I'll give up on this. But Kasva's conviction, probably the only player that would go this far. He's the player that I've seen pull 80% of his eco to build more towers when the going gets rough. And you know what? Going did get rough, but it got much tougher for GOA in this game.
And I know what you mean about playing the flanks there. Did you see Kasva finally has a second TC on the left side there? Just kind of on the deer and the stone. Very hard for the Knights to find that easily, right?
Mm-hmm. In fairness, there's like flanks are quite wide in this game, courtesy of what Kasva has done to GUA.
There's a lot of space for him to maneuver.
Mm-hmm.
Is he just losing bills while he chops this wood? Oh, that tower's not upgraded. Oh no, it is.
It is.
I killed the
house. Yeah, it's shooting the house right now. I don't. If we check his vision, I think he might not see them. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, just barely. No, it should shoot that. Weird. A ram is out now, so the ram potentially going to start taking care of some business.
Oh my! No, don't do this.
No,
please stop, leave. No, that's a fortified outpost. And he has got a Maga now.
This is so much idle time that I guess he just needs the berries. He needs food.
I mean, at this stage, just kill each other and eat each other. I think that's a better option than what this is.
Did you just say that GUA should resort to cannibalism?
When the going gets tough. Maybe that's what we're missing from AoE.
Don't finish that.
The meat gets the meat gets tougher. Yeah, you know, it's not like eating chicken. It's more like it's more gaming. So I hear. Maybe we need a cannibal civ, Winston. Can you think of a civ that would be appropriate for that in history?
Like one of those island nations that still exists, I guess.
Okay.
Like those undisturbed cult. You know, there's like these island nations.
Like this one off the coast of India, right? I think. Is it India?
Yeah. There's just like, I think there's one in like Southeast Asia, where like there's just like these tribes that have been uncontacted and it's illegal to talk to them, because if you go, you die, basically. Wasn't there some guy that went in the 60s and died, like very famously? Yeah.
I think there's been cases where they tried to get on shore and they had javelins hurled at them.
That's insane.
Oh, well, there we go. We've answered outpost with outpost. He has picked up a relic. We've been in... This is Castle Age HRE for, I want to say, 9 minutes now? And he's got one relic.
I kind of think Castle Age was the throw a little bit. At least Regnitz. He went up to Castle Age and had 1,200 food. If that had just been a Burgrave, he just instantly has enough man-at-arms, kill all these towers before these stone emplacements come in, and then he'd be in a much better position. Then you can just get the relics, the game's at your pace, right? Everything's fine, you kill the vills that are garrisoned to give them arrows, like... Dude. But here he went Castle into Regnitz, and it's like, well, Castle's not gonna let you get the relics. Like, you have to get past the towers to get to the relics. And so this is tricky for GUA here.
Look at Kasva's approach to like resource gains as the game goes on. This is the guy, like he wants extra drinks, so he just walks around finishing everyone's unfinished drinks at the bar, right? Like, you had this board, now it belongs to me. The gold, now it belongs to me. And while you're wasting all this time on these outposts, Kasva's busy taking map control.
Second relic.
He's done it.
It's in.
It's it. That's it. GG. No, wait. I'm kidding. Look at Kasva's eco now. He's caught up.
A bit. Yeah, a bit. But the relics are a thing, and Kasva still has to go Castle Age, so he has to do quite a lot of work to really get there. But the idle time that he keeps incurring on the economy of GUA, I almost feel like GUA is overreacting at some stages here, but I really can't tell. It's kind of hard to keep track of every tower. But, like, as you can see, a lot of the towers are slowly getting cleaned up, so the response so far from GUA has been good. I think once he kind of got that ram out and killed that one tower on the barrier, I felt like his position so far has just gotten a lot cleaner and a lot more, like, secured. Like, a lot of these towers are gone now, and he can just get his resources. He has a pretty high veil count, and there's only really spearmen to worry about, 22, in fact.
You should worry about them when that happens.
You should, yeah, they will find you. You should worry.
Does he actually? He should see that. There's no way that he doesn't see that.
Spearmen have a very low line of sight.
Yeah, they do need to go to Specsavers. They need to get some glasses. But he definitely sees that. And ignores it. This is the downside of seeing everything on the map, Winston. Too many blue dots.
you get carried away with your vision. And
You're
you
like,
become
what matters
blind to the
anymore?
truth. Yeah, you become blind to reality. This knight could be really annoying on that, but yeah,
It's,
crossbow follow up here.
I
Okay.
mean, like I said, it's the information game. Like when you know everything in the universe, you realize something, Winston. There's a lot of things that people shouldn't discover on Google that you would have discovered.
I don't want the context. Let's see.
So if you search,
I'm just gonna move on. No, I said I don't. I said no context. Let's see. Let's see though. The Barbican gonna easily push those man-at-arms away eventually. There's just like only a few towers left in the back of the base. Only a couple, like 6. It'll only take a few more hours at this rate for GUA to be secured.
so this
What?
wasn't quite your only Rams game, but we've had only towers, we've had only spears. Now with the crossbows, I don't know if I think GUA loses these fights with his comp. As long as, Kasva doesn't throw away all of his fuel age spearmen before they realize their maturity.
Yeah, I might be lagging by the way. So
Oh.
if my voice comes in weird, is it fine?
Yeah, you're fine. You're absolutely fine.
Okay, cool. I'm fine. Okay, you were lagging then, or was one of us. Anyway, yeah,
No,
thank
you
you,
were
Wham
lagging.
Cutie. No, you were lagging. Yeah, thank you, Wham and Cutie, for the 250 raid. Hope you guys had a beautiful time with the tournament today. As we are watching GOA and Kasva brawl in duel to the death. Every villager
Not worth.
has been found, has been pushed away. Every single villager.
Hold on a sec. Congratulations to GUA. That's, I want to say the 6th, 7th out. There's still 50% left.
Every villager in GOA's entire length to tower at some point. They have all experienced. They have a collective
They've either touched or been touched by a tower, right?
Yeah, exactly. They have all experienced what we have come to know as the towering. I don't know. I was gonna say like Shrekening, but
The
that's
towers
not the
brought
context
us
for Shrek.
together, because it was impossible to move away from them.
This Mangonel did a lot of work at clearing out the towers too. So is this one ram, by the way. This ram has been on a tear.
It's
If
a,
Kasva could stop that, it'd be good.
it's
Is
a
this
mission of
keep drop?
penitence, I think is the way of thinking it, right? Like, he's been given this... wait a second.
I'm smelling a keep. 400 stone from keep. He buys the stone, and here comes the keep.
And now he's going to have enough for another one afterwards. Look at this wonderful stone outcropping. Oh, and all these stables you just placed. Let's make them
5
unstable.
stables? Oh my gosh.
No, those are not 5 stables now. Those are just 5 body blockers.
Yeah, 5 investment sinks where you can put a unit in that will come out and die to 3 cannons. This is brutal.
I mean, these horsemen aren't going to work, right? Like, he's trickling out horsemen.
No.
The crossbows will snipe him straight away. I think Kasva's...
Yeah.
We had outposts, but you know what? Good job, GUA. Outposts weren't good enough. Time to build castles.
Holy crap, this game has made me just scared of towers again. Like, oh man, I feel like
to him?
they're just so good here. It's been so... Okay, so remember at the start of the game how we were like, oh, this tower's terrible. He's not finding the economy. And then the towers just stayed there. And then they kept adding them. And then eventually he found the economy. And when he found the economy, GOA was like, okay, where do I go now? And there was nowhere left. That was like the last place that he found,
I think,
Oh man, this has been brutal.
I think Kasva will admit the early game did not go the way intended, right? Like, the outpost rush did not work as intended. But what made it work was his follow-up. His commitment to going, okay, we've hit a bump in the road, but what I'm going to do now is instead of, like, hitting the brakes and finding a new route, I'm going to, like, nitro this up, right? I'm going to stick some moonshine in my engine and go 100 miles per hour with this play.
Here's the next keep that's coming in, but there's a Mangonel from the north and the south, both getting shots off a huge on the crossbows, and another shot onto the building village. Could be a problem.
Ouch.
Okay, the keep has to get canceled.
GUA, he's even getting fancy
takes
with
out
the
a
relic.
Yeah, he was thinking he had an opportunity there for something special. Gonna need to see maybe a trebuchet or two to finally deal with the keep, I guess, but GUA can barely afford that as is. Looks like he's gonna go for the ram push. He's got 3 rams on the field and 2 more in keep. He's just gonna try and ram down a Chinese keep, which is bold because you need to protect the rams, and the Chinese keeps have insane DPS. So things get dicey when you try this.
I mean, I'm just waiting to see like Kasva's next step. You know, I don't know if he's just on a challenge mode right now, like, you know, defensive landmarks or like offensive landmarks, and that's the challenge. But I would just like to see him raid now. Like, you won't stop the HRE if you just do this, because they've got those farms, right? So they can afford horsemen indefinitely.
The Mangonel just gets sniped by the keep. That was so funny. Kasva immediately saw those mangoes coming. Gotta get safe. But now he's got the Mangonels. Did I cut out again? I think I'm lagging. Yeah, sorry. I don't know what's going on.
So, you know, you need to just stop downloading whatever nefarious stuff you're in the background. All right, there's enough nefarious stuff on your screen right now. Kasva has ensured that in this game. That micro, he garrisoned to dodge the mango shot. You beauty.
Beautiful, beautiful stuff there from Kasva. Although the Mangonel is still coming in. One left, but the Spearman might try and take it out. Not going to be able to do so. The Rams going to take down the keep, though.
He's keeping it alive for the Boiling Oil. Like, if he gets that as a research through, that resets this push, and then he can just go into more keeps that are going to be stronger. But there's no way he can stop
down, though. The Mangonel comes in.
Oh, micro again. He's so good.
That was very impressive, but he still lost the keep. And now GiveUA could put his own keep up if he wanted to defend it.
GiveUA, no. Kasva, like I saw that the villagers, they wrap from the north. And this is more important. This is what he needed to do in the first place. He's found the farms.
Yeah, but these Rams could just go north now, right?
Yeah, but
what are those villagers doing?
We need to build faster. Like, Cho's like, I don't care what the price is. I don't care what it costs. We need this castle yesterday. More keeps.
I'm a bit speechless.
What? He's
I
getting
feel
the
like this is a lot of villagers. He can't afford this many vill losses, right?
Like if he idles eco the other side permanently, then it's kind of okay. But no, he gets spotted. The castles.
What is happening on the screen there? There was just a lot of rebel having like a spaz attack or something.
So I think
really struggling.
Placed a keep and then they both cancelled at the same time. It's like, if we keep doing this on repeat, maybe we can crash the other player's game.
Yo, did you see that rubble though? It was
ridiculous.
Glitching out hardcore. That Aachen is.
It was a stone fountain.
Yeah, this is okay. Okay, we need to focus. KP, we need to focus.
Are you sure? Because like this game, like there's no focusing. Okay, you think you're focusing on the right thing, Winston, but like when you're looking at my fist on the right, the left one is punching you in the gut. That's how this plays out.
Okay, boiling oil. Okay, not just that was just another spring out. So not boiling oil yet, but like this game has gotten kind of crazy. There's Landsknecht in that fight, so well.
Yes,
I spoke to you.
They are definitely in the fight.
So the Spearman can get cleaned up. I just had to wait. That was not me cutting out for the fight to work the way I expected. But yeah.
Rams make his way to TC.
What's so annoying is Kasva got a lot of vills to that 3k stone mine on the right.
Yeah, so you know what's coming next. What's annoying about that? It's nice. You can anticipate what happens next, Winston.
Yeah, but the Rams made it, and now I really like GiveUA's position. I think Kasva got a little ahead of himself with the keep drops. I think like that whole conga line of vills through the base of GiveUA was obviously not intentional, but like kind of a big mistake here, because now he's got a lot of vills trapped here. These 6 Rams, sorry, can just go clear up this tower and then to the keep that's bothering him. I think Kasva's in trouble.
I'm telling you, Kasva, like, he saw an opportunity to make this a cool game where it was just defensive outposts and keeps all around. I agree, it did cost him. The crazy part is the way that he brute forces that first keep and then the second. Like, he's placing keeps in the wrong place. I think, you know, his idea later of going the northern side was the play. If he'd done that originally, this kind of almost cheesy keep approach wins in the game. It stops the farms. But if we look at the back of GiveUA's base, we can see that the HRE eco is bussing right now. 2k food a minute. Then look at Kasva's. 300 food a minute.
Yeah, and on top of that, 4 relics with the Ragnets now. So he was able to get it eventually, right? Kasva did a really good job delaying it, but the Spearman follow-up it kept it messy for GiveUA for a really long time. But I don't know, for a moment there, I kind of thought Kasva had completely swung the game and had a chance there. But with that keep on the stables, for example, right? But I mean, GiveUA just kind of rammed it down, and Kasva had no juice in the tank to hold things back. And the flood of HRV units is now crossing the field. Sacred sites being captured as well. This is looking rough.
This is
for
chaotic
Kasva
when you
now.
look at Kasva's base as well. You know,
Yeah, he was
so
really spread out just using the map. He never like walled in or like protected himself. He like kind of spread out around the map, and now it's GiveUA's turn to abuse that.
GiveUA is definitely getting maximum value. Meanwhile, Kaz was like, I seem to be getting punished for being spread out. I clearly didn't spread out enough.
I mean,
Hey, man, I told you, this is Kasva, for better or worse. Like, when he has an idea in his head, double down, right? Almost to a stubborn degree. Like, you know, Pocket Ecos was working. Let's just spread them further. Keeps was working. Let's just build more. Outposts were working. Let's just... And it's like, the worst part is it's like a false positive. Because the outpost play came around, you get to this keep stage, you get to these Pocket Ecos, like, this will definitely work. Like, there's just a point of no return that no one's been past, but I'm gonna venture deeper.
and the land schnecht as well. These land sharks, they are circling the water, looking for that cluster of vills on a gold mine, you know, or on a wood line. They just make their way in there, and in a jiff, you lose 20 vills, right? It's terrifying what land sharks can do on the O, and we'll see how Kasva can defend here, because this looks like GiveUA is mounting up for that final push. He's popped. He's got enough res to go imp pretty soon if he wanted to, but it looks like he's just going to queue up more land schnecht.
I don't like that.
I
I don't like that wood amount from GiveUA. I think that's not enough to build an army of rams. I think we need to address that because, you know, GiveUA, funnily enough, has found a way to turn the game on the back of rams. As Kasva is now the one under assault in his base. He's going to be forced to take a fight that could go very awkwardly for him, especially if the Lanks start to arrive here. Mangonel shot in, heavy damage done.
Yeah, the Horsemen just going to take the trade against the Spearmen anyways. They don't really care at this stage. They've got enough reinforcement, got enough, you know, production behind them that if they could toss their life to kill these couple of Spearmen and save the Rams, it's just going to be GG. And Sacred Site victory is approaching. Mental damage unlocked. Kasva in shambles now, surely, as GiveUA clears up the... yeah, GiveUA clears up the surrounding.
Yeah, the second wave comes in. You said that Kasva's in shambles. Well, GiveUA is the shambler. I mean, the villager idle time alone, when you're this many villagers down. I don't know what Kasva's backup plan is. Maybe he's just reflecting. Maybe he's prepping. Because remember, folks, Kasva did come into this game 1-up. This just guarantees GiveUA a shot at turning it around, because I feel like game 3 is imminent.
I see people in the chat confused about my pronunciation of Landsknecht. Land Shark is the official name.
There you go. You need to put more in there.
A little more guttural. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't speak any German, so.
Let me simplify for you. GiveUA, das ist gut. This game, despite the pressure on him, despite the awkward way he had to hold, great breakout. And by the way, that's a cool element of what Kasva done here. There is a burst to the gathering rate of the HRE that usually forces them to have to come out and contest resources fast. I think that was part of Kasva's plan. And I think what we go back to is Feudal, great from Kasva. I think up until he began Castle Age, he looked in control of this game, and you can see him close out. But the moment Castle Age came out, ironically for both players at different phases, you felt like that was the losing play, right? That was where things just completely spanked them in return.
I loved that game. Can I just say that game was awesome to watch?
Yeah.
That was really fun. You wanted off meta strategies. I mean, all out Chinese tower rushes haven't really been meta for a while, right? Like, they're still around. Like, you still see them. You still see it with Mongols sometimes, right? Like, there are definitely civs that still do these all-in tower rushes, but you don't often see that much commitment to it, right? And oh boy, do you see what I see?
Are
you excited for a mirror?
Yes, because it's going to be different. GiveUA is going to play the same game he just did. Kasva's going to play the same game he just did.
But in order to tower rush with HRE, you need a proxy TC to chain the chain the emergency repairs.
But your upgrades are cheaper. And your eco is better. I mean, your build speed is worse, right? I'm not ruling it out. Like, I've seen Kasva do this type of crap before. Like, Shout out to K. I call him Special K. Like when he's on his form, when he's playing his best, I call him Special K.
Isn't that a cereal brand?
Yeah, he's that damn delicious, right? Like to watch at least.
Tasty, eh?
Because I remember I'm gonna
I don't know
throw a
what you're
recon.
doing with Kasva in your free time, but okay.
Hey, what can I say? You know, we bonded. But like when
Oh,
I remember in the
spicy.
early days of AoE 4, he was the first player to pull off an all-in Kremlin rush. I'm gonna throw recon under the bus here. It was Mongolian Heights, Rus versus HRE, and he was like, "That's a greedy civ." He rushed up wooden fortresses, dropped a Kremlin, recon couldn't move. Very similar to what we just saw in the last game. So you know, Kasva, I'm wondering if it's kind of in the forefront of his mind, because I think a map like this, you can exploit your opponent that way, especially when they kind of, you know, diversify into that waterfront and they look for the food elsewhere.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how this whole start is gonna go. You know, a lot of times I would assume this is gonna be the old classic, the HRE Spearman rush, to just deal with different elements of the map, right? To potentially push your opponent's resources, or we're gonna see the proxy racks on the pond on the right. On the Cauldron game in the last set, we saw some different approaches to
Yeah.
how you could play HRE. And you know, Wham showing that, you know, he's still pretty comfortable with the standard way. But you know, we saw some other attempts at HRE on these hybrid maps. So I'm curious to see if either of these players deviates. I feel like both of these players are going to make a lot of Spearman in the Dark Age, KP. That's my prediction. And according to today, that will not be what happens, because I'm predicting it. Or did I just jinx that prediction of being wrong? So now
I
I'm
don't
going to be
think
right
it
again?
works when you try.
Oh.
Isn't that the way that usually? Like, I don't know. There's some people where it
Oh.
does. Like Kyle, it works, but we need to test yours further. Let's try some other things. If you'd like to try, repeat after me. We will not reach 300 subs this weekend.
I'm not saying that out loud.
You're cursed, so it could happen, right?
Yeah, but that sounds mean. We're going to hit the sub goal this weekend for sure.
Why would
I'm
you, why did you
confident.
just do that to Pet? I'm sorry, Pesty.
No, I'm not. No. I speak from the heart. I don't want to game the system.
Your heart is cursed. This is what we've played. Despite your good intentions, your superpower cannot
No.
be denied anymore, Winston. All right. So what I'm going to need is a prediction. You mentioned, you know, possibility of Spearman here. All right. What's the possibility of a mind work play?
With these players, very low.
The way you
I don't
said
feel
that.
like they would. No, but like you
These
gotta
players?
come on, these players. Yeah, but think about how these players are gonna play it, right? These two,
Oh, I
like,
get you. So, like, the mind work build that be done, you know, for Kasva, it's too slow. For GUA, it's not greedy enough, right? That's where we're going.
exactly. Now you get me.
But, hear me out on the flip side. If GUA builds a mind work pass, siege engineering is cheaper. I'm bringing you around. I can see it in your eyes.
I mean, time will tell, KP, as we hoist the yellow flag, no longer the black flag of the Abbasid mirrors.
It's got a little bit
And
black in
here
there.
we go. Thank you, High Level, for the 5 gifted to the channel. I'm sure Pesty will be very thankful, as we all are. Your support means a lot to the channel and the team. Let's go, though. Game 3 on the way. Kasva versus GUA.
Hell yeah. You guys keep the subs coming. We'll keep the games coming. GUA versus Kasva. What a game 2 between these two absolute mad lads. Kasva looking like he had GUA by the long and curlies, but GUA able to wiggle free after being a game down and force a deciding game between these two players. It's a critical game, right? Deep run from either one of these players could see them lock in a spot for that playoffs. But it is difficult. If you don't go all the way, if you don't win round 3, say au revoir to Golden League 2.
Okay. We're already seeing a big difference here in the strategy. So, Kasva going to be trying that other concept we saw, which was just rushing up to feudal and not caring.